Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Mercado. I am one of the financial aid advisors here at Mission College. And tonight we're just doing a little bit of financial aid overview for seniors and how to get financial aid and next steps. So once you're graduated and you go to college. So we'll review different types of aid, the free application for federal student aid, also known as FAFSA, who can apply for that application. And then also we'll go over the California Dream Act application and who can apply for that specific application. We'll review some financial aid programs, types of grants, waivers, scholarships, loans, and then if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat, like Chen mentioned, or you can, wait until the end of the presentation and we can discuss after. So I also like to, I always like to get started with this question, who likes free money? Because who doesn't, right? Free money. I also like to think about this as when you're applying for financial aid, you're getting free money. So it's kind of like school is going to be your main job. So you're getting paid to go to school. And one of the ways is by submitting financial aid application. And if you're already working, then, financial aid money is just going to be a little bit extra that you're going to have for any school supplies, for gas. I know sometimes students use it for rent, food on campus, transportation. So, free money that you don't need to repay. If eligible, you can use it for your school, and it's just good to have more money. More money, the better. And then anywhere that you plan to go, whether it be at a community college level, at FCSU, UC, or any private institution, as long as you submit your financial aid application, it'll determine your financial aid eligibility, and each institution will also have their own financial aid packages. So we strongly encourage that you submit a financial aid application. I know now it's required, but it's a way for you to see what types of aid you are eligible for, and also to compare financial aid awards and make a decision, depending on the award letter where you are going to plan to go after high school. It'll help you determine your eligibility. And then what types of financial aid do we have? So anytime that you see a grant, that is going to be free money that you do not need to pay back. So grants, free money, free financial aid money, often based on financial need that does not need to be repaid. So an example of that is the California Promise Grant. So that is a waiver through the state, and does not need, through the waiver, you do not need to pay classes. The grant will waive off those fees. Scholarships is also a form of financial aid, so money awarded to students based on academic or other achievements to help pay for education expenses. So scholarships is also a source of financial aid that students will apply to. And the more applications you submit, the better, more chances of getting financial aid, more chances of getting that award. The only thing that is not free, that you do not get to keep, are the federal student loans. So a federal student loan is funded by the federal government to help pay for your education. A federal student loan is borrowed money and you need to pay with interest. So we'll review a little bit about the loans as well, but that's the only type of financial aid that you need to repay. So anytime that you see a grant or a scholarship, that is free money, except for loans, you need to repay back with interest. So again, Need-based aid is free money. So like grants and scholarships. Non-need-based is earned or borrowed. So like a work study or loans. And anytime that you see grants, that is free money that you do not need to pay back. It is going towards your education, and it'll help you throughout your years in college. Loans is the only thing that you do have to repay. This is a chart just to help you visualize what self-aid is and what gift aid is. So self-help, again, is the loan or student employment, and then gift aid are grants and scholarships. And then where does the money come from? So we have three ways of receiving this financial aid. So one of them is through the federal government, such as Pell Grants, the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, Teach Grant, Federal Work Study, and loans. We also have other grants that come from the state, so Cal Grants, A, B, and C. EOPS or EOP. We also have the middle class scholarship and free waivers like the California Promise Grants. And then we also have institutional aid. So we also offer, or the institution that you plan to go to also offers their own institutional aid package, their own financial aid. So for us here at Mission College, we offer what is called the free enrollment grants, and the Mission College Promise program. So these are two types of financial aid that we as an institution offer, but there are also other forms of aid at the institution that you plan to apply to. You just need to review them in your financial aid letter. This is also an example of the amounts of aid that students would get. This is mainly a student as a low income and full-time status. So this is the federal Pell Grant. Student with low income or an expected family contribution of 0 and a full-time status, so 12 units, they can receive up to $7,395 for the aid year. And eligibility lifetime is 600%. So up to 6 years, a student can receive $7,395. Even if they take a break, they can always go back, reapply, and if eligible, then they will receive the amount. This amount will also change depending on their income. And also the financial aid, so the federal student aid awards as well. So that one sometimes is more, sometimes it's less, depending on the federal student aid application. And then we also have the Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant. Students can receive up to $4,000. This is money that stacks. So if a student receives for an aid year $7,395 and then receives $4,000, that is on top of the $7,385 that they already received. And then they can also receive work studies. So that depends on the institution that they plan to go. But if they qualify and the school offers the program, they can definitely apply to work on campus. And the amounts will vary depending on the program and the type of employment the student applies to. And then type of aid that the student will get through the state, there are Cal Grants. So typically at a community college level, we see Cal Grant B and C. And then Cal Grant A would be at UCs or CSUs. Also the middle class scholarship. We also have EOP or EOPS. I know our program offers monthly grants, so students will receive either $100 or $150 if they're part of the EOPS program. And then also another type of state aid is the California Promise Grant. So the bog waiver here with us. CSUs and UCs will have a different name for their waivers, but it's all that type of same state aid. And then again, this is another form of institutional aid that we offer. So we have that fee enrollment grant. So students that live within our service area, such as Alviso, Campbell, Los Gatos, Santa Clara, Saratoga, parts of San Jose and Sunnyvale, will receive that free tuition. However, they do need to meet this criteria. So in this case, for me, I do not live within the service area, and I have not submitted a financial aid application. So because of that, the bottom and the top icon there are not greened off, so I don't meet the criteria. Students that live within the service area and submit a financial aid application, live within the service area, are working towards a degree or credit level certificate, and are a California resident or meet the AB 540 requirements will have that free tuition. So again, this is another form of institutional aid that our school offers. Again, each institution will offer their own type of institutional aid. So just make sure that you check in your award letter or check in with the college university that you plan on going to. And so for the fun part, so application opens October 1st of this year. So just next week on Saturday. We'll go through some steps on how to determine what application you need to submit and how to create IDs. And then the priority priority deadline for this application is going to be March 2nd of 2026. More chances of you to receiving those priority grants for first incoming students to college, and more chances of obtaining those grants. So it's very important that you submit it prior to March 2nd, the priority deadline. And then what application to submit? So if you are a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or eligible non-citizen, what you want to do is submit your FAFSA application. If you are undocumented, have a current or expired DACA, have a TPS or a U visa, then you will submit the California Dream Act application, but you also need to meet the AB 540 requirements for that one. So everybody should now have an account, or the students should have the CCGI login. They will have to log in with their school email, password they created. Once you're in there, you should be able to retrieve the either FAFSA application or the California Dream Act application, and keep track of the colleges, universities that you are applying to. So in that same login, you will come log in and get access to either the FAFSA application or the California Dream Act, depending on those requirements. So that is the first step, just determining what application you're going to submit. Important information that you need to have before completing your application is just general information, so legal name, birthday, email, phone number, social security number if applicable. You need to have your parents' information as well for those that are submitting FAFSAs. You need to also have parents create FSA IDs, their income information, and then also the list of schools that you are planning to apply to. So for this new application, you can apply or add up to 20 schools on that FAFSA application, and the California Dream Act as well. So both financial aid applications. So again, students that are submitting a FAFSA application, This is for U.S. citizens, permanent residents, such as like the green card holders, and eligible non-citizens. Students that have like special visas, asylum, things like that, will be able to submit the FAFSA application. And then again, priority deadline is March 2nd of 2026. The FSAD is a digital signature that's used to sign your application. So once you create your FSAD, your Federal Student Aid ID, you cannot create a new one. It is linked to your Social Security, so you always just have to retrieve the account if you lose the password or username. So you will need to create it with your Social Security number. And if parents do not have Social Security number, it is okay. There is a way to identify that as well. And then each individual should have their own FSA ID. So student their own FSA ID, and then parents will have their own FSA IDs. So student and parents with Social Security numbers will come to the application. So FAFSA.gov, they will hit that create account. Get started, plug in their information, and continue on through the set of questions. For parents without Social Security number, same step, you're going to go to the create accounts. You're going to put your personal information, but there is a drop down link where it says, what if I don't have a Social Security number? You're just going to click on that link and then continue with the set of questions for that as well. And then you just log in and complete the application. So an example of that would be, you're going to come to the FAFSA.gov, start new form, and then create account, get started. For student and parents with SSN, you're just going to go ahead and put all your personal information, continue through the set of questions 1 through 7. Once the account has been completed, it should take about 1 to 2 days for your Social Security number to get verified. For parents that do not have a Social Security number, all you're going to do is hit that I do not have a Social Security number. Continue through the set of questions 1 through 7. Once you're done, you're just going to log back in to the FAFSA 2026-2027 application and continue through the set of questions where they ask all the income and that type of information. And yeah, so students will then log in, and then they will send the contributor, so parents, the invitation. Then the parent will have to log into their own account, accept the invitation, and answer the series of questions. And then both student and parent need to sign their own individual application. So some of the mistakes that we've seen in the past is where the parent is creating the student's account and they mistakenly add their own Social Security number to student's account. So I would recommend the student and the parent create their own separate accounts to prevent these type of mistakes. If for whatever reason you create your account, you forget the account login, there is the Federal Student Aid Help Desk where they can help you retrieve your account. This may take some time, so I would recommend that you also write down like your logins, take a screenshot of the passwords, so that way you don't have to go through the trouble of retrieving the information. Alrighty, so now similarly to the FAFSA application, student will need to create an account for that one. So I will go ahead and demonstrate that as well. So for the California Dream Act application, this will be only for students that are undocumented, that have TPS or U visa, and meet the AB 540 requirements. So if you do qualify for the California Dream Act application, you're going to come to, you can just also Google CADAA, so CADA. It'll be that first link, and then you're going to go ahead and register your account and then continue through. So it's going to ask you, do you have a social security number? If you don't have one yet, you can just say no. If you have one through employment, you can say yes. It'll ask you if it's through the through CADA or through employment authorization. So this is for students that have a social security through employment authorization. So then you're going to say yes, continue through. Then it'll ask you the AB 540 criteria. So have you lived in California for 3 or more years and have attended a high school, elementary, middle school, or cumulative? And have you also graduated from a California high school? So if you meet that criteria, then you're going to say yes. I have attended either middle school, elementary, high school for more than 3 years, and have also graduated from a high school. And then have you filed a 2026? Are you going to say no because it's still not open? What you're going to do is it's going to be 26, 27 FAFSA, but you're not going to do the FAFSA. You're going to do the California Dream Act. Once you do that, then it's going to give you that start application. Well, you're then create your account. Once your account is created, then you're going to come back and log in. So it's just a few more steps. But similar to the FAFSA application, you have to first create your account and then log in. The only thing is that there is no invitation for parent. Parent will have to input their information on student application. And then also the AB 540 form will have to be submitted to the admissions office. So for students that do submit the California Dream Act application, make sure that you also get in contact with the admissions office so they can give you the AB 540 form, the California non-resident tuition exemption request form to override those out-of-state fees. Okay. And then also, we acknowledge that at the time of submitting your financial aid application, there could be different changes, right? So at the time of completing your application, parents have a job, you submit it, but down the road, when you're maybe in your first 2 weeks of school, parent loses their job, there's no income coming in. You can always submit a income adjustment. So that would be a special circumstance. A special circumstance to financial situations that would then we will need to recalculate your student aid index or your expected family contribution. So that would be in recent unemployment, less hours working, in hopes that you're eligible for more financial aid. So if at the time of you submitting your financial aid application, for whatever reason you weren't eligible for financial aid due to your high income, but down the road, parents are working less or are laid off or lost their job, then you can request a income adjustment in hopes for that recalculation to make you eligible to receive more financial aid. We also acknowledge that at the time of submitting financial aid, not all of the students will have access to parent information. This could be because parents are deceased. Student is maybe couch surfing, doesn't have a secure home, are in foster care, they have legal guardianship. This is another unusual circumstance where the students will determine that on their financial aid application. So if any of the reasons that I mentioned are kind of triggering something, right? they qualify for that. There are similar questions on the financial aid application where they will determine if they do have an unusual circumstance, and then they will have to continue through a dependency override, either with the institution of their choice where they're planning to go to, or if you're coming to Mission, then that would be through me. And I would help through that dependency override. So that way, when you do apply for financial aid, parent information is not preventing you from receiving financial aid. And then for loans, at a community college level, we strongly encourage students to stay away from applying to loans because there are a lot of free programs, grants that will give you enough aid for you to save your loan until like you transfer. But we do acknowledge that there are specific situations that will, there's emergencies that will make students get a loan. So if you do get a loan, one of the requirements is that you need to be enrolled in a minimum of 6 units. So that is a general number of units, so community college and also at a university. So minimum 6 units be enrolled in order to qualify to get a loan. And then there's also 2 types of loans. So there is a subsidized loan. So this is a loan where students do not pay interest while they're going to school. So the government will pay that interest. So at the time that you get the loan, it's not accruing any of that interest. You can receive it. And then it'll start accruing interest 6 months after you have graduated. And then there's also the unsubsidized loan. So this one is your responsibility to pay. So at the time of you obtaining this loan, it will start accruing interest immediately. So subsidized, if you are planning to get a loan, subsidized would be the best way to go. That way you don't have to worry about accruing interest as you're continuing with your education. There's also another type of financial aid, which is scholarships, as I mentioned earlier. So one way of getting these scholarships is to search and start early. There are a lot of scholarship engines out there. So if you are going straight to, like, let's say CSUMB, CSUMB will have a page strictly for scholarships. We personally have a page for scholarships as well, which I will go over in a bit. These are just some scholarship tips that I encourage all seniors to keep in mind. So when you are applying to scholarships, it's not just one that you're going to apply to, right? There's going to be multiple that you're going to want to apply to. Again, the more applications, the more chances of you to obtaining that scholarship. And so what I usually recommend students to do is creating a master essay. So what you're going to write in this essay is just going to be everything about you. You know yourself better. So it's going to be leadership events that you're in, volunteer service, any sports, any family struggles that you've had and that you overcame, any accomplishments. So if you were given an award, if you did any like volunteer service, anything like that, you're just going to be talking about yourself and including those on the scholarship. So that way, when you are applying, you can take like little snippets and not write one for each scholarship. So it'll save you some time. And then also recommend to keep record of your scholarships. So some of them will request transcripts, letter of recommendations, the essays. So just keep track of what application you've also applied to, so that way you can always go back and ensure that you've like met all of their criteria, all of their requirements. We also recommend that you have somebody proofread your essay, so that way when you do submit it, it is it's good, it looks good, it reads good, and then so the viewers on the other end can go through your essay and give you those grants, those scholarships. And then I do want to show our page. It has changed a little bit. So again, as I mentioned, each institution will have their own scholarship page. For us, Mission College, you will find our scholarship page under the admissions and aid link under scholarships. And it will bring you to this page where it will show you the types of scholarships that we have, either internal, external. We have the West Valley Mission Scholarship. It will be open again in December. So if you are planning to come to Mission College, I encourage you to visit that link and apply for one of the West Valley Mission scholarships. I know that students that have applied before have received them. We don't have a lot of students applying to it, so I definitely encourage you all to apply if you're coming to Mission College. There are also other scholarships, external scholarships. One that I like is the Immigrants Rising Scholarship because it shows the amounts that are being awarded. Let's see. Ooh, where is it? Okay, so here are the amounts. Okay, so there's a minimum and a maximum. Okay, so for this one, Immigrants Rising, anyone, it'll tell you also who can apply and who can't. There are some for high school students. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Oh, there you go. High school senior. So for those that like Photoshop, you can click on that one and read any of the criteria. So there's no GPA immigration status. This is national. This is for a high school senior or college, graduate, professional. But the award is for $500. So again, having that master essay, so that way when you find these scholarships, you can kind of play around with your statement and include, something regarding Photoshop. And that is for high school seniors, national, with various fields of study, with any immigration status, no JPA requirement, any race, and or planning to, okay. So this one is for a senior in high school enrolled in college university. So for current high school students. So this is a good search engine to look at, to look through. The other one that I really like is Fast Web, which it's not here, but we can search it up. Fast Web. So with Fast Web, this is another scholarship search engine tool where students will have to create their own account first. So here on FastWeb, you have to sign up. But once you're in, you're able to filter through the many scholarships there are. There are a lot of scholarships. But the good thing about this one is you tailor it to you. So if you like soccer, if you like sports, Photoshop, art, theater, music, anything like that. They will be scholarships specifically for those likes. Even if you're a lefty, there's a scholarship for a lefty. So for those that are lefties, definitely encourage you to search the lefty scholarships and apply to them. Okay, so those are okay. And so once you have completed your financial aid application, you are in you are deciding where to go. You will also have to check in with the financial aid office to ensure that everything that you submitted, your financial aid application for FAFSA, your California Dream Act, AB 540, that there are no documents that are missing. So that way you can complete verification requirements if you are requested to. So some of those requirements are tax documents, verification forms of identity, Cal Grant acknowledgements, and then you can also view your awards through your portal to either view your balance, make a payment of any fees that you may have. But once you know exactly where you're going to go, then you can always go back to your portal and view any pending requirements that you may have. And then we also use Bank Mobile to receive your disbursements, so your payments. For those that have submitted their financial aid application, they are eligible to receive a refund. Then having your portal available so that way you can also go in and set up your disbursement. So this is another way to check in with your financial aid office once you know where you're going to go, so they can help you set up your account and you can receive your refund. And for those that are coming to Mission College, our student portal has changed a little bit. But again, this is where you can see any financial aid pages, parking permit, where you can register for classes. You can view your verification documents. Again, each institution will have their own student portal. And then you have the next steps for high school students. So definitely comparing award letters prior to accepting grants, right? So compare award letters to determine where it is that you're planning to go to. Once you do that, you have to go into your portal to accept and decline grants. Signing up for orientation, we will have one in the spring for those that are coming to Mission College. We will notify you via your student email, which is really important to check your email at least twice a week because we will be sending out notifications, which we also encourage students to create your own Gmail. So once you graduate from high school, you lose access to that student email. So creating a new one, your own personal email will help you as you're applying to colleges, applying to scholarships, so that way you have access and you're able to review all of those emails. Also applying for support programs such as EOP or EOPS. Again, they're awarding you free money. If eligible, you do get that additional grants that stack up. And the more money, the more better. You do not need to pay back, and you can use that for your school to buy a laptop, for food, for supplies, for books, and then also renewing your financial aid every year. So we are getting close to that first open date, October 1st, for 2026-2027. But the application opens every year and you have to renew your application every year. So if you want to continue receiving financial aid, then you will have to continue on submitting that financial aid application every year. And then no news is not always good news. So if you have a question, if you don't know, definitely reach out to a financial aid advisor. So if you're still having like a hard time comparing financial aid letters, like definitely reach out to me. I can help you see the awards that you're eligible for, or reach out to the institution where you're applying to. But it's always best that you reach out. When in doubt, reach out. This is my this is my email. So if you have any questions, definitely reach out. I can help you, read through your financial aid award letter. If you are coming to Mission, we will be having financial aid workshops in October and throughout the semester. So definitely reach out, let me know, so that way I can give you those dates, more information. And I also have this PDF that CSAC gave us. So I will share with Chan, so that way she can send out to everyone. Or I'm not sure, Chan, if you have this, but this is kind of like a good reminder of what application to apply to, gathering that information that you need for the 2026-2027 aid year. We are looking at the 2024 tax information. So if you do have that return, great. If you don't, it's okay. Students can still submit the financial aid application. It'll tell you the dates of when the application is going to open, the dates of when the priority deadlines are. And then applying for scholarships, they already give you sort of like a link to that scholarship link, and then other tools as well as to how to find scholarships. And then once you submit your financial aid application, it's just doing those last minute check-ins to follow the completion of your financial aid application. So I will go ahead and send this to Chan, so that way she can send to you all. That is all I have for you today. So if you have any questions, I think I do see some on the chat.